And welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about The Walking Dead, Season 11. We're going to be talking about episodes 17, 18, 19, and 20, the first four episodes of Part 3. I know it's been a minute since I uploaded, but of course I'm not going to stop, uploading. I'm still going to talk about The Walking Dead, of course, given that it's the final 8 episodes. Um, but I've just been extremely busy with college and work and stuff like that, so I haven't been, making as many videos as I should. But I have been watching the show, and today we're going to be talking about episodes 17, 18, 19, and 20. And then from now on, I'm going to try and upload per episode since it's the final 4 episodes. I will be making a review for each of the episodes. I say that, as an attempt to try. No promises, just because I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe something comes up and I'll be very busy because I am really busy right now with college and stuff um, and work. But I'm going to try really hard to make sure I upload a review per episode for the final 4 episodes. Even if that means like that the review will come out a little late because. And tonight, episode 21 is coming out, I believe. I don't know how it's working on AMC Plus. Is it the same release? I know the final episode they said they're gonna release it on the same day, which is awesome. Because obviously we don't want spoilers or anything like that for the final episode. They're not gonna release it earlier on AMC Plus, but I think the rest of the episodes are getting released a little bit early on AMC Plus, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so I think tonight episode 21 will be on AMC Plus, but I'm just gonna be talking about episode 17, 18, 19, and 20. Um, and yeah, so again, I know I'm a little late to it, but I am really liking so far what we're getting in this final part. So we'll talk about everything. Obviously, general spoiler warning in case you are not caught up with this show. And then if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, be sure to subscribe for more content. But yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so starting off at episode 17, and I guess all the episodes have this. They have the opening with the flashback, which kind of like captures the entire show's timeline. I'm really liking that they're doing that. It obviously fits that it's the final, season, or I mean, it's been the final season for a while now, but it's the final part. But in some ways, this feels like its own little season, because it started in October, which The Walking Dead usually does. It's episode 17, so in some ways, it kind of feels like its own little season. Um, but yeah, this episode pretty much picked off where episode 16 ended, with the battle at the hilltop. And there was a lot of great stuff, like the chase sequence with the cars. You don't really see that in The Walking Dead ever because, like, I mean, they don't use that much gas and stuff because it's the apocalypse. But, seeing like a car chase scene is always a little bit, jarring on the show. So that one with Daryl and some of the Commonwealth people was pretty interesting. And Lance, I mean, I'm continuing to love what we're seeing with Lance. I mean, he is so scary in his, and I think the actor's also doing such an amazing job playing him. But and he gets progressively more scary as as the show goes on. And I'm sure if you're watching this and you've seen episode 18, 19, and 20, you know what I mean. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. You also have like the drama at the Commonwealth, which is always interesting, like the protests and, stuff like that. So they're having a good amount of like character drama, but at the same time they're making sure to keep the walkers relevant, which is great. I mean, I guess I'm talking about episode 17 specifically, but I guess some of these go like for the whole show so far. I mean, for the whole season so far. I mean, like they have been doing a great job with keeping the walkers very relevant and very very relevant. I mean, because as we know, some of the walkers are evolving, which is kind of crazy, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Because yeah, apparently they can hear them, or I mean they can sense them in different ways. But because that was the next episode, I believe, so we'll talk about that then. But uh, yeah, so like I also really did like that sequence in episode 17 where we had like Stephanie, and I think the other guy, his name is Roman, according to IMDb, if that's correct. I don't know if they ever mentioned it on the show, but I looked it up. His name is Roman. He's kind of working with Stephanie, and they've kind of been like following Eugene around. Like those sequences are really good and pretty scary. Like when Eugene was like turned around, you could see them in the crowd. I really did like that. And also, I've been saying this all season long, but like the score this season has been so great. Also, with the Negan and Carol sequence, that was really well done when they went to go look for Sebastian. We haven't seen those two really spend a lot of time together on the show. I mean, even after Negan got introduced, we didn't really see much of him until I mean we didn't see much of those Carol and Negan interacting until a while later. But there hasn't been that much. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't even remember that many times where it's happened until he well, I guess until like after he became part of the community. But anyway, so yeah. Um, but yeah, these episodes all had like really great character moments. Also like the Maggie and Daryl scene, which was really good. And then we had like the walkers coming inside of the Commonwealth, and it was a really it was a pretty crazy ending to see that happen. And I mean we can go into episode 18 now. I mean I've seen episode 18, so it's like but like when I was watching it, like it was a crazy ending to see it like that. And episode 18, like yeah, this season has taken a lot of turns, or I mean, this part. I keep saying this season. This part keeps taking a lot of turns that I did not expect, and we'll talk about that throughout the review. So yeah, episode 18, like I said, like they were still doing they've been doing these little flashback bits, in the beginning of all the episodes, and they've all been great. All right, episode 18 was also really good. I thought, there was that showdown we had in the. I mean, I had a few minor issues. Like I did think in some ways it moved a little too quickly. Like I did like that showdown you had with the Commonwealth underground, right? Like literally every character was there, which was like, okay, this is super cool. But then and then that stab by Daryl was like insanely brutal. Um, but like that whole sequence was like really well done. But then it just like went by so quick, And the teaser for that episode made it seem like it was a lot longer. So I don't know. Eugene did say something interesting in this episode. He was like talking about I think he was talking to Max. I think it was right, but because I wrote down the note. It said like show you my home. So I think this just made me think like I'm assuming at the end of the show they're probably gonna go back to Alexandria, right? I mean like they've been there since season 5. There's no way the show ends and they don't go back to Alexandria, right? Um, and then, yeah, characters saying goodbye to each other. I kind of wrote down some notes. Like, there's just so many character moments that I'm worried for a lot of these characters. Like, I'm really worried about Aaron. Every time I think something's gonna happen to Aaron, nothing does. So hopefully he makes it to the end because I really do like him. But like there was a sequence in this episode where he was saying goodbye because remember he left. Um, you know, but he's good so far. He's good so far. I'm also really liking Pamela in this part. If you remember my for part one and part two, like my reviews for those parts back when I posted those, um, I talked about how well I guess part two specifically because part one I wasn't expecting Pamela to be in, but part two where Pamela did get introduced, I thought we weren't getting enough of her. But this part we're getting a lot of Pamela, which is great. And yeah, she's maybe even more scary than Lance, and that's something because every time I see Lance, I'm kind of scared on TV. And then they had that wrestling bit, which was like insane. Because I did not expect that. I didn't expect to see that on The Walking Dead, but it happened. But yeah, they got Sebastian. So we heard that like that recording of him, and then like just things got crazy, and then Sebastian got bit, and I did not expect that. That's what I meant earlier when I said like things happen in this part that I was not expecting to happen as quickly as it did. And there's more, in episode like 20, which I'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, they got Sebastian, which was like I just didn't expect it to happen that fast. And then you had episode 19, which was like the aftermath. I did find it weird how the Commonwealth couldn't find where Eugene was. Like how is that possible? Like the Commonwealth, like aren't they experts in their own like place? Like they couldn't find Eugene. That was kind of weird to me, but it was just like sort of like a whatever thing. But yeah, so again, this episode had a lot of good character moments, which again made me worried for some of them. Like we had the Max and Mercer scene, we had the Eugene and Daryl scene. The Eugene and Daryl scene was really good, um, like really really good. And I'm gonna talk more about Eugene throughout in a little bit because like wow, Eugene is just like I swear, I'll talk about him because I have a note in episode 20 in my episode 20 notes, but yeah, Eugene has just become such like an amazing character. Um, and yeah, this episode all and then there was also like the Princess and Mercer scene, so lots of great character moments. in this scene. I think there was also a Rosita and yeah, there was also a Rosita and Eugene moment. You know, them crying and stuff. So yeah, seriously worried for some of these characters. You know, it seems like, well, I think they're gonna get back together like during the final episodes and stuff. But like, just right now things are very intense for them. And some of them were like split up, but again, ultimately, I think they're all gonna find each other towards the end. Yeah, there's definitely something weird going on with Pamela and Lance. I'm not exactly sure what, but yeah, there's some weird dynamic going on there. And the big thing that we had in this episode was the Walker variants, which I want to talk about. Because, I mean, there was so much drama happening in this episode in terms of the characters. Like, it's lots of great character moments. I kind of forgot about the Walker variants, but I was definitely getting, like, some Whisperer vibes from them, and even Aaron himself said Whisperers. And those walkers were like crazy strong. I mean, that one walker was insane. Like, they were like climbing the fence and like climbing the wall and grabbing a rock or something. Like, that was crazy. Um, and then I do like how it was Aaron who said, like, I heard these stories. Because he was the one who would always like go around and like recruit people, right, to Alexandria. So it makes sense for him to hear those stories because I'm assuming he probably talked to a lot of people, while he was recruiting and building Alexandria, because he was there since the beginning, I'm assuming, right? Um, but I will say though, one issue I had, it was like I really hope the Walker thing was not like a one and done thing because the tone changed so quickly. I felt like they should have extended it a little bit more, because like they had that moment, they were all stuck in the roof. It was like a storm. There was a bunch of walkers, and the next thing you know, like as soon as they're done dealing with that one variant, it's like the next day was like perfectly fine. So I thought it moved way too quickly there, and it kind of made me worry. Like, so I hope it wasn't just like a one-time thing. Um, I don't think it would be. That would be so weird if it was. Um, but I just thought like the tone changed so quickly in that moment. It was kind of jarring. So hopefully, they come back around to the variant thing. And that brings me to episode 20. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we really did talked about the variant thing in episode 20. So that's what I mean. Um, so I just hopefully, that sticks around because it was super interesting. So in this episode, we had Pamela, she wanted Yumiko to like prosecute Eugene. And I do like how Yumiko was like standing up for her friends and stuff like that. That was great. And then we had like Daryl and Carol going after Lance, and Lance was like stuck in that room with Sebastian. Like that was insanely dark. Like Lance was just completely losing his mind in there. So the show definitely has a lot of dark moments like that, which is a good thing for The Walking Dead. It's The Walking Dead. Um, and then you had that Eugene and Yumiko scene, which was great. And I have to say, like, this is what I meant earlier. Like, that scene was so amazing. Like, Eugene has become one of my favorite characters to watch. And I think Josh McDermott, has become one of the best actors in the show. I really do think so. Like, it's his scenes. I mean, his storylines also, like, they've given Eugene such interesting storylines, like from his time with the Saviors and, even like during the Whisper arc. You had the Pamela stuff, with the radio. He's always had these interesting arcs, and now at the Commonwealth, he's also had a super interesting arc. And then, yeah, like I said, Josh McDermott has brought so much to the character that is just amazing to watch. And yeah, like I said, like the show has not lost its sense of walkers, which is great because there was a little bit, like a few seasons ago, where it was sort of like we weren't seeing as many walkers, but now that's not a problem anymore, which is great. Like we had that moment where they were fighting walkers and stuff like that, which is great. Because I mean, you always need those scenes. It's important for the show. And then that sequence with Lance. So they also, Lance, Carol took out Lance, which was insane. That was another thing I was not expecting. Like I said with the Sebastian thing a couple episodes ago. Now Lance, like these are two major characters who are gone now, and I was not expecting that. But yeah, I have to say, Lance, Josh Hamilton, I believe, is the actor who plays him. It was really really fun to watch him. He was really great in the role, and Lance was terrifying. But yeah, things are moving quickly now. Like episode 21. Like I said, that came out tonight, like the night I'm recording the video. I haven't seen it yet, but it's looking really interesting. it seems like all the characters are coming together more now, and it's the final 4 episodes. So yeah, I'm gonna try and like upload a review for each of the episodes rather than do like all four at once, like I did for this part. But you know, I've just been so busy. It's insane. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about the first 4 episodes if you've seen them. You know, what do you think is gonna happen in the rest of the episodes? Don't comment any spoilers or anything like that, please. You know, for episode 21 or you know further. But just let me know what you think so far. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there for this video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. And for more Walking Dead videos like this, be sure to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Please take care, and I'll see you guys soon.